Yeah, greetings of the day. On this day, in this class, we are going to study the rest over concepts of nested structures, pointers to structures, etc. So let us get back to the slide. So in the last class, okay, we have seen these slides, declaration of a structure, example of the structure, initialization, how you're going to do initialization. So here, whether PPT is visible? Whether slides are visible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So this is the way how we are going to assign the values to the elements of a structure directly. This we have seen in our previous class. Then this is one example of the structure called as student. If we consider a student, then this is the example, name, age, marks, and this is also one method of assigning the values. Ramu will be stored in name, 15 will be stored in the place of age, 520.00 will be stored in the place of marks. So coming to next slide, giving values to members, we can use or we can access the elements of a structure using the dot operator. So we can use dot operator to access the members. Then this is one example where we are going to accept s.name, s.age, s1.marks. Similarly, we can print the values s1.name, s1.age, s1.marks. So this is how you are going to declare the elements, the structure variable. S1 is a variable of type struct student. S1 is a variable of type struct student. Now this is the structure that is defined for this particular S1. So S1 will be having a memory location that will be having name, age, and marks. In order to access them, you can use s1.name, s1.age, s1.marks. So this also we have seen in our previous class. So similarly, we can assign the values directly at the time of declaration. Struct student S1 is equal to so and so values. Then we have seen array of structures. We have written one program. Now this is one example for accepting the student details. So here we are having S1 of 4. So we are accepting 4 times. This scanf is going to repeat, which is going to accept name, age, and marks. So structures and functions also we completed yesterday. So we are passing the structure variable as an argument. There is a parameter, a return type. We have seen all the different ways. Then coming to the next concept of today's class is nested structures. We can have a structure element declared inside another structure. Structure element or structure variable declared inside another structure. A structure that contains another structure as its member is called as a nested structure. We'll see this. For example, we are having struct date. Date will be having dd, day, month, and year. Now, for this structure, we are missing here semicolon. A semicolon is missing over here. Now, another structure is structure bank. Bank is having name, account number, amount. Along with that, we are having again struct date D3. Now, struct date is the struct date, the structure variable. Now, if you create like this, then struct date is called as a nested structure. Struct date is called as a nested structure. Let us see one example, then you will understand how to access the structure, nested structure elements, etc. How to access nested structure elements, etc. Now let us take one example. Oh, we came to union now. Let us open dev environment. Just a second. Let me share the dev environment screen for you. You share screen. Okay. Now let us get back to dev. Whether dev environment is visible?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So we are going to see nested structures example. So what we are going to do, we are going to create two structures. For example, we want to take a student structure, or we can go with the previous example, that is inches and feet, but that is height of a student. So let us go with that example. So in the previous class, we have created struct height. Now the height will be having two things, integer feet and integer inch. So we can directly write integer feet comma inch. So we are having these two things in the structure, feet and inch. Now let us create one more structure, say struct student. Now this structure will be having something like integer roll number, character, name, say maximum is 100 characters. Then we have something called as int age and int height. Int age and height. Now we cannot declare height here. Yes, because we know that height is having inches and feet. Inches and feet. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a variable of structure height in this particular place. Instead of declaring a normal variable, we are going to declare a variable of this type. So we are going to write struct height h. Now h represents, h is a structure type height variable which is having feet and inch in it. Okay, so we want to accept the data, we want to print it back. That is what we want to do, accept the data and print it back. So now we are creating a variable inside this particular structure. Then this structure is called as a nested structure. Struct height. Height is called as a nested structure. So let us create a variable. So how to create a variable? Directly you are going to write like this. So integer main struct student yes, for example. Now we want to accept the values from the user. Printf /n enter student, enter roll number. Then scanf %d comma ampersand s dot roll. So this is the roll number. Then we want to accept the name. So you're going to write printf enter name. Enter name, enter roll number. So here we are going to write, instead of scanf, we can go with getS. GetS s dot roll. Okay. So before accepting a string, we need to clear the buffer. So you're going to write f flash in brackets stdin. Clear the buffer of standard input device, that is keyboard. Because after entering the roll number, you may press enter key. That enter key will also have an ASCII value. That ASCII value will be stored in the place of name. So in order to overcome that, we are going to write f flash. By this, the enter key or whatever the white spaces it is having will be cleared. So the keyboard buffer will be cleared by this line. Then we are going to accept the name. Then we want to accept the age. So directly you're going to write enter age. So here s dot age. The next one is we want to accept the height of a student. So this one is important. Now here we are using s dot age. Here we are using s dot name. Here we are using s dot roll. So now the new concept is we need to accept the height. So you can enter printf enter height. Height. So here we are going to accept %d s dot. Now see here. Here we are having a variable struct s. Now s is a variable for this particular structure. S is a variable for this structure. Again we are having struct height h. H is a variable for this particular structure. So we can access s dot h dot feet. How you are going to access? S dot roll number, S dot name, S dot age. Similarly, in order to access this feet and inch, what you are going to write? S dot H dot feet. This is the way you are going to access. S dot h dot inch. Okay, for nested structures. So here you are going to ask enter height. So you are going to write percentage d, percentage d. Two values you are going to accept, s dot h dot feet, comma, ampersand s dot h dot what is the next one, inch. S dot h dot feet, s dot h dot inch. S is a variable created for struct student, and here h is a variable created for nested structure called as height. Okay, so that's why you're going to write here s dot h dot feet, s dot h dot inch. So after this we want to print the values, so you're going to print printf roll number is equal to percentile d comma s dot roll. So this is going to display as the roll number, then slash n name is equal to percentile s comma s dot name. So we are going to get the name, then we want to print age. Age is equal to this enter age number, enter age number. Okay, enter age. So age is equal to percentile d comma age. So we are going to print the age, s dot age. Then we are going to print height. So in order to print the height, you are going to write height is equal to percentage d dot percentage d. Oh, percentage d dot percentage d. Then a comma, then s dot h dot inch. So the new thing here we are learning is we are having more than one dot. Why you are writing two dots here? Because s is the variable which is created for struct student. Now this struct student is having a nested structure. So we are going to write s struct height h. Then for this the variable h is created. So in order to access the feet, you need to write s dot h dot feet. In order to access inch, you need to write s dot h dot inch. So this is how you are going to access. So let us execute and see the program output. Compile and run. So main, let it be main. Struct student.
Semicolon.
Yeah, good. So where we need to write the semicolon?
It's
Outside the bracket.
Yeah,
In this semicolon bracket.
yeah, after the flower bracket, we need to write the semicolon. Good one. Thank you, both of you. So here also the same thing. After the flower bracket for a structure, we need to write semicolon. So execute, compile and run. Now here we got roll number, say 120 is the roll number, name is, so 1076, what is your name?
Bhargavi, sir.
Bhargavi, Bhargavi. Is that right, Bhargavi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Then age, Bhargavi?
18, sir.
18. Then height?
5.5.
5. Okay, so we got roll number as 120, name is Bhargavi, age is 18, 5.5 we have given. What happened to height? Oh, something wrong.
Sir, you have given only inches, not feet.
Let us check that. So what we have given here, percentage d dot percentage d. Yeah, that's right. So here we need to give feet, comma, s dot h dot inch. So we have given only one input. That's why we got one variable. That's why we got like that. Execute, compile and run. So now roll number is 120. Is that 120? No, 2049. Let us execute again. Execute, compile and run. 52049. Is that your rule number, Bhargavi?
51076.
Oh, we lost. Okay, let us forget. So 18 years, height is 5.5. So I'm not giving 5 point here. I'm giving a space. You need to recollect that. Rule number 52049. Name is Bhargavi. Age is 18. Height is 5.5. So we are getting correct output. Is there any doubt in this program? So only thing is you are having nested structures. The one way is you need to write both the structures, then create the variable for a structure inside another structure. Then this structure is called as nested structure. Creation of a structure inside another structure is called as nested structure. Then now if you are having the example of spare parts, if you are writing the structure for a bike or a vehicle, if you are having spare parts, then all the spare parts are going to come in nested structures concept. That is one example. Okay, so here in order to access we need to write s dot h dot feet, s dot h dot inch. Similarly the same thing. Is there any doubt in the program? If not, let me copy paste the program. Where is my browser? Yeah, browser. I didn't open WhatsApp. Just a second. Come on, come on. Come on. Yeah, now we got section F1. F1, this one, this one. Yeah, section, yeah, make in SRU. So this is the first program. Now, so far what we have seen is, we have seen a simple structure program, simple structure we have seen. Then what else we have seen? We have seen passing, arrays, not arrays, passing, structure, variable to function. All the three cases we have seen. Passing the arguments, structure variable as an argument we have seen, returning the structure variable we have seen. Then what we have seen? We have seen array of structures. Now we have seen nested structures. Then we are going to see pointer to a structure. Then we are going to do all these programs using typedef. I'll explain one, you can do the rest. So next one is pointer to a structure. So we have seen the variables. We have seen all types of variables of structure. Now we are going to have one more variable called as pointer. So suppose we want to declare this particular, let me make it simple. Let us go with the simplest one, that is height. Okay, very simple one. Sir, why height every time? Can you give me one more example which is having the limited scope like this, integer, feet and inch? Can you give me one example? We'll go with that one instead of structure height. Now let us go with this structure. Yeah, say somebody saying something. 1139, you can go on. Time. Okay, time we have seen. Let us go with date of birth. DOB. Okay, now what date of birth will be having? You will be having integer day, then you will be having integer month, then you will be having integer year. Is that right? Are these sufficient?
Yes,
yeah, so let us go with DOB, how to access the date of birth. So now we are going to work on pointer to structures. simple one, pointer to structures. So now we are going to access these variables without using a pointer first. Then we are going to introduce the concept of pointers. So struct DOBD. So this is our new variable. Enter first day of DOB. Then here you are going to write D dot day. Let me remove the rest of the code because we don't have strings. So we don't want F flush. So one is a day, then we want month, we want year. So here month, then D dot MONTH, then enter year of DOB. So here we are going to get year. So we got all these values. Now we are going to print them back. Printf, then /n date of birth is equal to %d slash. Now whenever you give slash, you have to give let us give one single slash and see whether we are getting the output or not. %d slash %d comma d dot day comma d dot month comma d dot year. Okay, so we got all the three variables. So what we are doing here, we are printing with a slash symbol. Okay, so compile and run. This program is implemented without using pointers. So we got date of birth. Can anyone give me their date of birth, please? Though your age will be known to everyone. Somebody please unmute, otherwise I'll pick a number. 1041. Who is 1041? 1041, I can't hear you. Yeah, somebody typed 1041. Yeah, you're on chat, right? Tell me what is your date of birth, day. 26/4/2003. Okay, let us give that input. So that is 26, then 04, then 2003. Then the date of birth is 26/4/2003. So we got the correct output. Now, so can we calculate the age with this particular information? Yes, you can do that. As a part of homework, try to calculate the age of this person also. Okay, you can do that by subtracting. Yeah, sir, age. That you have to find out. So what you have to do, you have to convert years, months into days, everything into days. Then you need to subtract. You can work it on, just think about it, how to calculate the age. What is present date? Subtract it from this date. Okay, then think about it. So what you need to do, you need to change this number like this, 2003/04/26. So what you need to do, change the date something like this in order to calculate the age. How to calculate the age? So we got the example is 26/4/2003. 26/4/2003. Now convert this into this form, that is 2003, then month, that is 4, then date, that is 26. Now current date is 2021 and month is 06 and date is 03. Now what you have to do, take this number and subtract this number. So do subtraction and get the number of days. Now this number of days you can convert to number of years. Subtract by 2 days, dates are, yes, that's what. Okay, so today's date is 2021/06/3. Subtract it from 2003/04/26. You will be getting number of days. Then you know how to convert number of days into years, months, and days. Already in the last semester, you have worked on similar type of application, which is going to print notes. How many 100 notes are there? How many 500 notes are there? How many hundreds, 50s, tens, etc. The same logic can be applicable here. Okay, So don't think for that much. You can work it on after the class. So here what we are doing, here we are declaring a variable D of type struct DOB, then we are accepting the values, then we are printing the values. Okay, we are printing the values. Now we want to implement the concept of pointer. So how to create a pointer? The simple way is here after D you can write asterisk P. So here D is there and asterisk P is there. Okay, P is the pointer, D is the variable. So you're going to write P is equal to ampersand D. Same approach, nothing new. Same approach, nothing new. Here, instead of having a single value, we are having 3 memory locations. But still, D is holding the addresses of this memory locations. Similarly, P is going to hold the addresses of these memory locations. Now, one important point, if you want to access using D, you're going to use a dot operator. If you are using P, then you are going to use a arrow operator. Now see, I'm going to change the code. Now instead of D, we'll be having P. Everywhere write P instead of D because it is a pointer. P, just a second, comma. So wherever P is there, you need to write P, P and P dot here. So there is no asterisk when you are displaying the value. Okay, so ampersand P dot D. Dot is the operator that is used for normal variable. For pointer, you need to use an arrow. P arrow, a hyphen symbol, minus symbol, and a greater than symbol. A minus symbol and a greater than symbol. Sir, can we make date, month, year as pointers? No, these are variables. For these variables, we are having pointers. Okay. For these variables, we'll be having pointers. Here we can create a pointer variable, but you cannot assign the address. Here you can create integer star q. This is allowed, but you cannot write q is equal to address of day over here. No, not allowed. Okay. So we can create a pointer, but don't assign the address. So this is also allowed. We'll see this example also. Don't worry. So here we are writing P is equal to address of D. So we are pointing to D now. We are having a pointer to D now. So instead of writing P dot day, we are going to write P arrow day. So this is the operator that is used for pointers. So here we are going to change P hyphen greater than symbol. Then similarly P hyphen a greater than symbol. You can call it hyphen or a minus symbol, whatever you call. So similarly here also the same thing. We don't have asterisk P day. Now here we are not going to write asterisk. For our normal pointer variables, we are going to write asterisk over here. But in this case, we are not going to write asterisk. We are going to use a arrow operator. So here also we are going to write a arrow operator. Now let us see, just a second. Yeah. P arrow here. Now let us execute and see, compile and run. Enter day of date of birth. Yeah, somebody tell me the date of birth. So 52105, unmute yourself. 52105. Are you there? 52105.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please tell me your date of birth, Dema.
20,
20,
3,
03,
2002.
2002, 23, 2002 we got. So this program we executed, thank you, ma'am. This program we executed using pointers. So what is that we are doing here in pointers? We are taking a structure variable, and for that structure variable, we are declaring a variable and a pointer variable. Then we are declaring P is equal to ampersand D. Sir, can I implement malloc, calloc, realloc here? Yes. You can implement dynamic memory allocations. Whatever we studied till this part, you can implement all of them on structures. Okay, on structures. Then if you want to assign the address using malloc function, how it will look like? Can you guess? So this program is working fine. Let us copy and paste. First of all, let us not make this complicated. Now I want to assign the pointer variable with some memory. Yes. How to do that? We're going to write p is equal to malloc size of. Generally, we used to write the data type. So what you're going to write here, what is the new data type here? And before this also, we need to have a conversion because we are using malloc. Do you recollect this concept? DMA, we worked a lot on
Yes, sir.
DMA. Yeah. Can you help me out? What is to be written here? Size of, we used to write size of int. Yes. So here
Struct
the new
DOB.
data, yeah, struct DOB you need to write over here. Struct DOB. What about here? The same thing, struct DOB. But here you are going to write a asterisk symbol, right? Integer star. Previously we used to write integer star. So this is how you are going to allocate the memory using DMA. If p is equal to null, then what you need, what you are going to write? P is equal to null, then what is the information you are going to write? Printf /n unable to allocate memory. So that was, otherwise we'll be having directly these statements. Else we are going to write printf scanf, printf scanf, printf here. Then we are going to write free. We have to free release the pointer, free p. Then, so this is a simple program implementing using DMA. Implementing using DMA. Execute, compile and run. If p is equal to null, what happened? Yeah, we have given capital P, small p. Execute, compile and run. Enter date of birth. Can we get a date of birth of one more friend? 52105. Please unmute yourself. 52105. Yeah, unmute yourself. You're on mute. No? Maybe she has gone. Okay, 51100. Unmute yourself.
24,
Yeah. Yeah, 24
12,
12
2002.
2002. Thank you. So we got the output using DMA. This one we implemented using DMA. So we incremented the level. Pointer to structure was the previous example. Now using DMA, pointer to structures using DMA. So like this, you can implement all the previous concepts using structures. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are writing the conversion character. Then here we are writing the size of, then we are allocating the memory in this particular line to the pointer. We don't need this D because we are directly allocating the pointer memory. Then if it is null, we are going to say unable to allocate the memory. Otherwise, we are going to store the values on the dynamic memory that is allocated. Then we are going to free the pointer. Okay, so this is pointer to structures using DMA. Now, so this is all one side. Okay, so these are very important programs that we have completed and copied and pasted so forth in your WhatsApp group. Now let us get back to the program. So I'm going to change the program such that we are going to add a new feature to all these programs. You can implement all these programs with a new feature. So for example, I have a program. Say I don't want to allocate the memory. I won't want to complicate this. I want to have a normal program. No pointers concept. Okay. So let us go with star D. Now no D dot. So one thing you need to recollect with pointers is you are going to use an arrow operator. Rest of the program remains same. And for a normal pointer, you're going to write asterisk. Here you don't write asterisk. That is another difference. So here ampersand d dot month and here d dot year. So these are the modifications that you need to concentrate. Then here, while printing, you need to write d dot day. Thank you. D dot month and D dot year. A normal program, it has nothing complicated things. Simply we are accepting the values, we are displaying them back. So here we are writing struct DOBD. Now let us concentrate on normal variable integer n. Now, sir, I don't want to write integer. I want to write my name. Can I write like this Ali M? Because I want to rename integer data type to Ali. Can I do this? Yes, we can do this with the preprocessor directive. One method is we can use preprocessor directive. What was that? Hash, or last class, last unit, hash define. Now, what is that you are going to define? Wherever you find integer, keep Ali. Wherever you find integer, replace the value with Ali. So now this must not give us an error. Let us comment this line first and see whether we are getting error or not. Let us comment first. So compile. We are getting Ali M because you don't know who is this Ali. The compiler don't know. Maybe you know me. Okay. Now let us write hash define integer Ali. Now let us execute compile. Now what happened? Hash define. Let us write above structure. Execute, compile. Again, what is the error? Unknown type Ali. So let us write Ali over here. Oh, that is correct. Execute, compile. Why we are getting error? Return 0. Okay, some brackets. Yeah. Wherever Ali is there, replace it with integer. So that is the right one. So here we can write Ali. Then here Ali M. What is the error? Where is the closing flower bracket? We got one more extra closing flower bracket. So compile. There is no error now. Wow. 0 errors, 0 1. So this is one way to rename a data type. I can write Ali wherever I want. Yes, instead of writing. Now, if a person if that person don't see this line, then he can't understand what is this code. What is this code? The person may not understand. If you are working in a team, if you're working in a group, the other person who opened your program to copy may not understand. So this is one way. Can we have another way? Yes. If we don't want to use this, you can simply write here type def. So one line is new thing, type def, define a type. So type def means you have to define a type. Now I'm going to define type def integer as Ali. So execute, compile. Again, what happened? Unknown name Ali, yeah. Type def, correct. Integer, rename as Ali. Type def, typedef, execute, compile. Okay. Execute, compile. What happened? Yeah. This is correct. Type define Ali, execute, compile. Struct DOB. Execute, compile. Long ago. Yeah. So now we didn't got any error because we need to keep a semicolon after the statement type def integer Ali. Now wherever Ali is there, that will be replaced with integer. Okay, this is another way. Type define the type. Yeah, thank you. 51041. Thank you. So type def integer Ali. So this is another way to define a type. So this is only specifically for a data type. You cannot define any other thing. Whereas using define, you can also convert printf and scanf to some other text. Okay. So this is one way. Type def integer Ali. So wherever integer is there, you can replace with your names. But see that your name should not have a space. Your name should not have a space. So this is one way. Type def integer Ali. So wherever integer is there, you can replace with Ali. So I am going to play this game on structure. I'm going to play this game on structure. So we have tagged structure and untagged structure. So till now, this is called as a tag. DOB is called as a tag. So this is called as a tagged structure. Which one is called as a tagged structure? A structure which is having a name is called as a tagged structure. Now, I don't want to give a name to the tagged structure. What can I do? Now here, see here, what we are going to do is struct DOB, you are going to write struct DOB tagged structure. Then in order to create a variable, let us remove this code which is not required. Now here also integer. Now we don't have any type def here. So see here, just try to concentrate. Here we are going to write a structure struct DOB. In order to create a variable called as D, then we need to write struct DOB. Sir, till now we have written something like this: integer I, character C, float F. Nowhere we wrote struct integer, struct character, struct float or something else. I want to give only one word instead of going with two words. Means I want to give DOB D, that's it. I don't want to give struct before. Then what we are going to do is we are going to use type def to convert this into DOB. How to do that? Simple thing. So here write is before struct, write type def. Type define the structure and remove this DOB from here. Then you write the DOB over here. Now, if you write DOB here, this is not a variable of type structure. This is a new name given to this particular structure. Here, DOB is a new name given to a structure. If you write here simply like this, struct DOB over here, and if you write here D, then D is a variable to this particular structure. D is a variable to this structure if you don't write type def. So if you write type def over here, you need not give the name of the structure. Instead of giving the name of the structure here, you can give the alias name for this structure. This structure, whatever you write inside, will be called as DOB. From here onwards, you are going to remove this struct before at the time of declaration. Directly, you can give DOBD. Now this is going to work. What we are going to do, what we are doing here, we are writing type def define a structure with the name DOB. Define this type, define the type of the structure, data type of the structure, that is, this is the structure with the new name called as DOB. Now here onwards, you can write DOBD. Okay, DOBD. If you execute, you will be getting the output. Yeah, let me remove this character, integer, float, not needed. Execute, compile and run. Okay. Now I'll be giving my date of birth, 5th September 1982. So this is my date of birth, 5/9/1982. More than double of your age. Okay, don't worry. Let us get back to the concept. Sir, we have declared here type def. Can we do with the nested structures? Yes. How to do with the nested structures? Let us try with nested structures. Say type def student. Now, just a second. So type def student, then integer, roll number, character name. Let us not use characters because we need to use that flush. So integer roll number, then integer, not integer, DOBD. That's it. DOB means new data type called as DOB because we are using type def. Then DOB is the new type. So DOB is the new data type, then followed by D. D dot day will be there, D dot month will be there, D dot year will be there. Okay. So let us accept only these values and print it back. So here you are going to create. Now for this structure, you need to give a new name. So here type def struct. This is how you are going to write type def struct, type def struct. Here you are going to write DOB. Here you are going to write STUD, student. stud semicolon. Now for creating a variable, you are going to write stud s student yes. Then you are going to ask enter rule number. Then you are going to scanf, accept the value, scanf s dot roll. Then you are going to ask printf enter day. Enter day of DOB. Enter day. So here what we are going to write now. Can anyone help me out here? This is the structure what we are having, nested structures. Can anyone please help me what I need to write?
S dot D dot D.
Thank you. S dot D dot day. S dot D dot day. Very good. Thank you. What about month? Same, right?
Same, sir.
S dot D dot month. S dot D dot year. The same thing. S dot D dot day. S dot D dot month. S dot D dot year. So before this, if you want to print the roll number, you can write one more printf /n roll number is equal to %d comma s dot roll roll number. Just a second, dot roll number. So this is how we are going to give a name, alias name. So here stud is alias name to this particular type def structure. So here DOB is an alias name for this type def structure. Okay, so if you use type def, you need not use the name over here. Now that name will be considered as alias name for this particular structure. Alias name means one more name. A student may have two names. One name may be called at home, one name may be called at college or office or any working area outside the home. Okay, now some may call you Muddu Peru. Now that is alias name. So this is another name given to this particular structure, and this is another name given to this particular structure. Okay, so this is type def. You can use type def for normal data types. You can use type def for structures, unions, etc. So execute, compile and run. So rule number say 120, date of birth some 5/6/23. So we got 5/6/23, rule number 120. So our program is working fine. So this is the program. What is this program? Implementing nested structures using type def. Sir, shall we go with the old one without using type def? Your wish. If you want to go with the new one, your wish. So type def can be implemented for all the programs which we have seen so far with respect to structures. In the previous class, we have seen some programs. For every program, you can replace type def and you can execute all the programs. Okay. So let me copy and paste this program. So where is the syllabus? So we have completed nested structures. We have completed pointers to structures, example programs, then is unions, accessing a union, example programs and difference. So that is regarding all different types of programs that we have so far in structures. So far in structures. Is there any doubt in previous class or in the today's class so far? Okay, great. I think there is no doubt at all because nobody is speaking. So let us go to the slides. Is the PPT visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Now, got a chat. Yeah, sir. Okay. Great. Now, you hear there is a difference between now last one is. Now, what is the size of this particular variable called as yes? Can anybody tell me what is the memory that is allocated? What is the size? So for example, if we remove all this code and let us write only one printf, what is the result? Printf, then I'm going to write memory allocated for yes is percentage d. That's it. Then how to find the size? What is the operator you are going to use?
Size
Anybody?
of.
Thank you.
Size.
Size of in brackets, yes. Now what may be printed? Here you are having the program in front of you. Here we have the program. So what may be printed now? Memory allocated for S is how much?
Maybe size of integer.
Size of integer means 2 bytes, 4 bytes, that's it.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Maybe.
you. Any other? So let me execute and show that the output is somewhat different. So we got one more answer. Sir, strike size struct of student. Struct of student. How much? I want how
Sir,
much?
size may be 8 bytes.
8 bytes, that is one answer. 4 bytes is one answer. 8 bytes is another answer. I say it is a different answer. So I'll execute and show, then tell me why you got that answer. So memory allocated for S is 16. Why 16 bytes are allocated?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Variables
there
are
are
A is a
four.
4 bytes and
different
3 for the 12. 12 plus this.
So that's the right answer. So one is whenever you declare a variable to a structure that is going to have the content over here. So roll number is going to allocate 4 bytes. Then it goes to DOBD. Directly it goes to the structure. Now this structure is having int day, that is, let me write semicolon, integer month, then we are having integer year. So here we will be having 4 bytes, another 4 bytes, another 4 bytes. So total 4 into 4, 16 bytes are allocated. Now is this clear? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt here? 16 bytes. Yes, thank you. So let me execute again and see whether we are getting same 16. Yes, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Very good. So this is size of a structure. Size of a structure or nested structure, whatever you call it. So let me copy paste. Great going. Now tell me what will be the size printed for this particular structure. I'm removing this date of birth. Okay, so integer roll number, then I want to write character name of 100, then float F or float salary, integer EID, employee ID, then employee name, employee salary. So what is the output of this code? Size allocated for, say,
108.
this is employee, or you can write EMP. Somebody said how much?
108.
Yeah, one answer. Two answers are 108. Let us see. We got chat 108. Now let us execute and see. Compile and run. 108. Wow, bingo. That's the right answer. Great. So we got all right answers, though I got only 3 answers, unfortunately, out of the class which is having 47 minus 4 students, but still I got only 3 outputs, 3 answers. Okay, so now a union is there, a structure is there, 2 different things are there. Now I'll show you one output. You need to say what is the output, why we got that out. Okay. A structure is a user defined data type. Similarly, we also have something called as a union. Whether we copied this program, whether we need this program, maybe. So let me copy paste, nothing wrong. So here we got 4 bytes allocated. Here we got 100 bytes allocated. Here we got again another 4 bytes allocated. That's why we got 108 as the answer. Now I'm changing the code. Think that structure and union are same. We are having one more user defined data type called as union. Now instead of writing here structure, I'm going to write union, union. Okay, another technique to allocate the memory, to group the variables, etc. Now if I execute, see what is the output. Memory allocated is how much?
100.
100. So what happened here? Here we have 4 bytes ignored. Here we got 100 bytes taken. Here we got 4 bytes ignored. So we got something like this. Now what I'm going to do, simply I'm going to change this to 20. Now can you expect what is the answer? 20, good
28.
answer. 28, lovely. So we got one as 20, another answer as 28. Now let us see, wow. Memory allocated of yes is 20. Okay, not 28, because it is ignoring this integer value and this integer variable. Simply it is allocating 20. Now I'm going to further change 2 bytes. So here, what might be the answer now? Let us
408.
execute and yeah.
408.
482. So 3 options are there. So let me execute, compile and run. So what is the answer? 4.
4.
Now can you tell me what exactly is happening here by seeing all these modifications? Now I'll change this
It is
code a little
accepting-
bit. I'll change this code a little bit. Instead of float, we are going with double. Double means double the size of float, so 8 bytes. Okay, here we are having 8 bytes. Here we are having 4 bytes. Here we are having 2 bytes. Let us execute, compile and run. 8. So can you tell me what exactly is happening here?
It is accepting higher bytes, higher memory.
Wow, super. So both of you right answer, including 520005. And who is our another friend who answered?
49.
What is your name?
Bharat.
Rafi. Yeah, Rafi is also right. Very good. So what is
Bharat.
happening with, yeah,
Bharat.
Bharat. Yeah, thank you, Bharat. So what is happening with union? If I change with struct, struct struct, if I change struct, what is going to happen here now? 16. How we got 16? 16. How we got 16? Just see here. This is 4 bytes. This is 8 bytes. This is 2 bytes. So in structure, it is taking sum of the sizes.
All bytes.
All sizes, sum of the sizes. Okay. And what about union? It is
It's
taking the
taking
maximum
the
size.
highest one.
It is taking the maximum size. Okay. Execute maximum size. So by seeing this example, can we say that a structure will be having the memory allocation for a structure? For example, this is a structure. It will be having a separate EID. It will be having a separate name, and it will be having a separate salary. Can we say like this? Yes. So this one is the memory allocated for EID, and this is the memory allocated for ESAL, and this is the memory allocated for ENAME, for example. Okay, this is with respect to the variable that is created for a structure. Variable created for a structure. What about union? We will be having a similar memory allocation for a union, but it will be having only one memory allocation, that is the maximum what it has. What is the maximum memory it is having? That is ESAL. Okay, so what it has only one memory location, and this memory location's name is EID sometimes, ENAME sometimes, and ESAL sometimes. It is going to use only the highest memory that is allocated. Highest memory, there is no separate memory. Okay, there is no separate memory. Whatever the highest memory you are going to allocate, it is going to use that memory location only. So I'll show one example of union. So when you are going to use union, union is going to get used when there is limited memory. If you are designing a handheld device, okay, once upon a time we used to have small pager phones, calculators, etc. Now we are having enormous amount of memory oriented mobile phones. Now memory is not an issue. Once upon a time memory was the issue. For example, you are designing a small device which needs some memory to be stored, like your smartwatches are there, etc. Okay, smartwatches also have limited memory. In that case, instead of going with structure, you can go with union, where the maximum size will be allocated. But one disadvantage in the union is you need to store, retrieve, store, retrieve, store, print. That's it. You cannot do calculations later on. Coming to structure, you can store separate values like M1, M2, M3. You can accept the values, calculate the values, print the result. But here in union, you cannot store the values. Only you can store one value at a time. You can store one value at a time. I'll show the difference. Then you will understand what is the difference between structure and union. Then we'll go for that slide. Okay. So let us go with this union example. Let me clear. So what we have here, we are having EID, E-name, let us make it as 100 bytes. Then E-salary is there, employee is the new one. So let us first try with structure, struct structure, employee, then employee. Now what we are going to do is we are going to ask enter employee ID, then scanf %d, comma, ampersand e dot eid. So this is the first one, e dot eid, employee ID. Then we want to accept name. So you're going to write printf enter employee name. Then here instead of using scanf, we can use gets. So before that, write f flush in brackets stdin standard input device, clear the buffer of the keyboard. Then we are going to write again enter salary, employee salary. So is it salary? E-sal. Okay. So here instead of D, we are going to write F, then E dot ESAL, employee E dot ESAL. So what we are going to do, we are going to ask the user the name, the value. Then what we are going to do, we are going to print the values. So this is one way. Otherwise, we can go with a similar value. I'll show that. Now let us first print these values. So only one printf is required. So one printf. So we are not printing all this stuff. So %d space %s space %f. So that is comma e dot eid comma e dot.
Sir, in 17th line, E dot name, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. E dot name, is it name? E name. Okay. E dot E. Thank you. E dot E name comma E dot E salary. So it came outside. No issue. So this is how we are going to print the values. Salary, name and ID. So you can write ID is equal to then /n, name is equal to then /n, salary is equal to. So now let us execute, compile and run. So employee ID 5038, employee name Ali, employee salary some 30,000. So we got ID 5038, name as Ali, salary as 0.0000. What happened? Salary E dot sal. E dot E sal. What happened? Salary, yeah, double. That's the issue. So for double, what do you going to use?
D.
Yeah,
D. %D.
%d, where E salary, no. Percentage, you're going to use LF. For double, you're going to use LF. Let us execute and see whether we are getting out correct or not. So one, some number, some name. Okay, now we are getting 30,000.0000 double. Okay, For double, what you're going to use? You're going to use LF. For double, LF. D is for integer. Percentage D is for integer. So what we got? We got input, input, input. Then we have printed all of them. Is that right? So if we change the struct to union, what happens? It accepts. Whether it accepts, yes, 600 is the ID, Ali is the name, salary is 30,000. So we got ID as 0, gone, name is gone, salary is only available. Okay. For better clarity, I'm going to change this program. For better example, I'm going to change. So here I'm going to write integer 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 dd. No 4 bytes, no comments. So what is this type def? This is day. Is that right? So here we are going to create day t. So we got enter employee, no, enter day. So here we got d.dd, enter month. So here we got d.mm, then enter year. So here we got d.yy. So here it is. So is this output clear? Now I'm going to make here struct. We said that for a structure, we have individual memory. So DD will be having a separate memory, MM will be having a separate memory, YY will be having a separate memory. If we execute, we are going to get the output. What is the day today? What happened? Yeah. Okay. D. Let us change /n percentage D. Yeah. percentage D and /%D. So here d.dd and here d.mm and here we got d.yy. Execute, compile and run. So today is 3rd, 6th. Execute, compile and run. Is it 3rd today?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And month is 6th, 2021 is the year. So we got 3/6/2021 right answer. Now, if I change this to union, what happens? If we go with structure is having the memory something like this. For structure, you are having the memory. In this memory, you are having DD, MM, and YYY. Okay, so the names of these memory locations are DD, and this one is MM, and this one is YY. So let me change the color. It's not visible almost. Yeah, DDMMYY. Now, if we change the structure to union, what happens? The maximum memory will be allocated. So we'll be having only one box. If you call DD, this memory location is used. If you call MM, same memory location is used. If you call YY, same memory location is used. For example, you are entering, in this case, today's date is 3. So you are going to enter 3 here. Then you are going to enter 6 here, month. Then 6 will be placed in a separate memory location, and you are going to enter the year as 2021. Okay, so first you entered 3, then you entered 6, then you entered 2021. What about this case? First you're entering the same value 3, then you are entering next, that is month is 6, this will be overwritten. Then you are entering 2021, this will be overwritten. So finally, what is left over? The leftover in a union is 2021. Okay, so first initially you entered 3, this is gone. When you enter the next value, this value will be removed. Then you are entering 6, 6 is the month, then this value is also lost. when you enter 2021. So these two are lost, and finally we have 2021. Let us see the output of this program. So instead of struct, let us go with union, execute, compile and run. So enter day, the date we entered is 03, month is 06, year is 2021. So finally what we are having? 2021, 2021, 2021. Now understood what exactly is happening? In structure, we have different memory allocations, whereas in union, you have only one memory location. Whatever you write will be pasted. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
We don't have separate memory locations for union. We'll be having only one memory location. Either it may be character memory, that may be integer memory, that may be float memory. Whatever you enter last, the last value will be there. What about the first values? They will be overwritten. So this is either you consider it as an advantage or disadvantage. It's up to you. We have unions, we have structures. So how to handle these structures such that we get same output? So what you have to do here, what you have to do is you have to print the date. So simply we can write like this. So here you can write entered, or you can write day is equal to %d comma d dot dd. Now we will get the output of day. Then after accepting month, print the month. Then after accepting year, yeah, what happened? Where I'm changing? Yeah, correct. Enter year. Then you are going to change here. Year is equal to d dot y. So there is no last printf statement. So execute, compile and run. So using unions, you are going to enter date. So it is going to accept 3. So day is equal to 3. Then month, it is accepting 06. Now month is equal to 6. Year 2021. So it is going to print 2021. So if you are using union, you have to accept the value, print it. Accept the value, print it. Accept the value, print it. That's it. You cannot hold the value. Suppose we are having 3 subjects, M1, M2, M3. You want to calculate total is equal to M1 plus M2 plus M3. That is not possible using unions. That is not possible using unions. So this is one example for using unions. So union example. So whatever we have done with structures can also be done with unions. Passing a union to a function, returning a union to a function, or
Sir,
yeah.
what is the use of this union, sir?
What is the use of union means if the memory is less, then you are going to go with union. Otherwise, you can go with structure. Two different tools we have. A union is also going to create a user-defined data type. A structure is also going to create a user-defined data type. Is that clear?
Okay, so fine.
Okay. So if I want to open a bolt, I can open with a cutting player. I can open with a nose pillar. I can open with some other tools. So these are different tools. A structure is a tool to create a new data type. A union is a tool to create a new data type. As per your requirement, you can use any one of them. The rest of the code is same. We also have nested unions. A union inside union is also there. Passing a union to a function is also there. Type def is also being implemented. Everything. Memory allocation using DMA for a union is also there. Okay. Whatever the programs we have done so far with structures can also be done with unions. But the thing is, accept the value, print it. You cannot hold it. Okay. Here what we are doing, we are accepting the value, printing it back. Accepting the value, printing. Accepting the value, printing. Otherwise, if you print finally dd mm yy, you will be having the same value. dd mm yy will be having same value. Why? Because we have only the maximum memory that is allocated, not individual memory. Not individual memory. Is this clear? So let me copy paste this union. Most oftenly union is not used nowadays, but still we are having some embedded devices that are having limited memory. Then you can go with this one. Suppose you are designing a small piece of code which is going to get stored in some small hidden layer. Okay. For example, you need to design a device which is going to transfer some information, or you are designing a device which is going to copy or doing video recording. Yes, like that, if any application you are going to design which is having limited scope for memory, then go with the unions. Otherwise, you can go with structures. If memory is a constraint, go with the union. So let us go to the slide. So what we have learned so far, let us see. So we have already learned that a pointer is a variable which points to the address, another variable of data type like the character, float, etc. Similarly, we have the pointer to structures, where a pointer variable can point to the address of a structure variable. Here is how we can declare the pointer to a structure variable using arrow operator. Here also we have pointers for unions. Pointers for unions is also there. Just thing is accept and print the value. Rest of the code remains same. Instead of writing struct, write union. So structure person, structure dog. Dog will be having name, breed, color, age. One example program is there which is using pointers. My dog, pointer dog. Pointer dog is equal to address of my dog. A little bit of code. So union data type. A union is a user defined data type like structure. The union groups logically related variables into a single unit. The union data type allocates the space equal to space need to hold the largest data member of the union. The union allows different types of variables to share same space in the memory. They are going to share the same space in the memory. For example, you are taking a room for sharing purpose. One employee is working in night duty or night shift and another person is working in day shift. Then you can share the room. The problem comes on a holiday. Okay. If that is the case, then you can go with union. Where sharing of the memory is required, then you can go with union. So both are used to group different data types to organize data structurally. Structure and unions are similar in syntax with keywords differences. Creating a structure variable and union variable to access their respective members is the same with the keyword difference. Keyword difference means the one which we are going to write, struct or union. The rest of the program is same. Union will occupy less memory space compared to structure. Memory underscore size is equal to size of the largest union member. How much memory is allocated is largest union member. Now these are some of the differences between a structure and a union. The differences between structure and a union. Now let us see, the first difference is the keyword. The keyword struct is used to define a structure. The keyword union is used to define the union. That is the first difference. Coming to the size, when a variable associated with the structure, the compiler allocates the memory for each member. If we have 10 variables memory will be allocated. The size of structure is greater than or equal to the sum of sizes of its members. Whereas coming to union, when a variable is associated with a union, the compiler allocates the memory by considering the size of the largest memory, not including all the memory locations, only the largest memory. So size of the union is equal to the size of largest member. This we have seen with an example. Each member within a structure is assigned a unique storage location. Coming to storage location, we have separate memory locations for each member. Whereas coming to union, memory allocation is shared by individual members of union. Only one memory is allocated. Value altering. Altering the value of member will not affect another members of the structure. If we change one element value, height, dd, yy, if you change one memory location, then its impact will not be there on others. Whereas coming to here, union, altering the value of any of the member will alter other members' value also. If you change, then the change will be reflected on all the variables. Accessing members. Individual members can be accessed at a time. Only one member can be accessed at a time. If you have 3 variables inside a structure, we can access 3 variables separately. Here we can access only one variable at a time. And coming to the last one, initialization, how you are going to initialize a structure. Several members of a structure can initialize at once. If I have 10 variables inside a structure, I can allocate 10 10 members are there inside a structure, we can assign 10 different values to a variable, whereas here only the first member of union can be initialized. So these are the differences. Is this clear? So this is one important point in with respect to difference between union and structure. So there is 50% chance that in exam you may get this question. Either you are going to get a program on a structure, or you are going to get asked with difference between structure and union. If you have short answer, then this can be a short answer in the exam. So this is very important slide. Difference between a structure and a union. Is this clear? I hope so. So that ends our today's class. So in the last class, we have seen some programs. Let us see the rest of the programs today. Now 256, let us make a breakout room. So before breakout room, let me give today's programs. Where are the programs? Week 7, week 8, file handling, week. Yeah. So here are structure programs. So we have seen yesterday whether you have completed this complex number program.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If difference
Yes,
between
sir,
two time
completed.
periods.
Yes.
Is this over?
Completed, sir.
Yeah. Store information of 10 students using structure. No. So let us do this. So let me copy this question for you.
Sir,
So-
information is like
Yeah.
what kind of information?
Anything you want to store: roll number, name, marks. For example, a student will be having a HTNO or roll number. A student will have a name. A student will have marks 1, marks 2, and for example, marks 3. You can take the subject names also. PSP. What are the other subjects you have? ESP is one. What is the other subject? Can you tell me? Maths is there. What is the name of math subjects?
EM,
EM. Next, one more subject, please.
EMMS,
EMS, sir. Okay, let us.
EMMS,
English, sir.
E-
It's common for all.
English is there, okay. Common for all. Now take these three subjects, then calculate total, then calculate total, then calculate average. Okay. Calculate total and average, print. That's it. Or you can even take grade also. A grade, B grade, if greater than 65, 75, EP, okay, no issue. So take any three subjects. Now using structure, you have to do this program, and let us see if there any other is there. Develop application data in terms of designation, ascending order, no name sort. Yes, we'll do this as an assignment. I'll give this in Canvas. There you have to do. I'll share the questions with you. Okay. So today, in our today's class, we have only two programs. So using union. So now here we'll be having a roll number, name, and marks. Roll number, name, and marks. This is one structure. The other structure will have these things. What is that? We'll be having English, PSP. So the name of the structure is marks, and here the name of the structure is student. Structure or union, whatever you call. Is this clear? So we have nested structures. Here we have nested unions. So create a structure here with these attributes, create a structure with these attributes, and this marks has a link with this marks. Don't write marks because we are going to get an error. So you can write STUD underscore marks. This is the name of the structure. And similarly, this is the name of the union, student underscore marks. Okay. So create one structure, try to calculate the marks, total, average, and print the grade. Same do with this union also. Each question carries 10 marks, 2 questions, 20 marks. All the best. Is there any further doubt? Otherwise, it's 3 o'clock. You are having 1 hour of time to complete these 2 programs. You try to execute. If you are finished, maybe our faculty may give you more questions to practice. It's up to you. So these 2 questions are going to carry you 20 marks. I'm going to copy paste in the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group. Then let us go with breakout rooms. I hope you know your breakout room to join. So again, I'm giving manual breakout rooms. Create. Open all rooms. Let me stop recording. Stop recording.